Howdy everybody, Steve here, KM9G. Today I've got some solar panels behind me here, which means I need a solar charge controller. This is the PowerQueen 30 amp MPPT controller, and we're gonna test it out today. Let's get it open over on the bench. This is actually a really big box, so it's gotta have a really big controller in it. Fairly well packed up inside with some nice foam and some protection. We have a bag of hardware. We'll get into that in a bit. We have a piece of sticky rubber, like a rubber foot kind of deal here. We'll figure out what that's about. A manual. Who reads manuals? This here is actually pretty neat. This is a mounting template. So if you pop these holes out in the four corners and then hold it up to your wall, it will tell you where to put the screws so you don't have to stress out. Oh, I like it. It has a temperature probe, so it will not charge if there is temperature problems, either too much or too little, so it protects your batteries. I like that a lot. And like I said, this thing is big. Oh my goodness. There you go. Wow, that is huge. I like it. Humongous heatsink on the back. Those things are easily an inch tall. I'm looking at my desk mat, and this thing is 6.5 inches top to bottom and 9.5 inches side to side. And we've got some fairly large terminals in here, so we can put some really good size cables. And there's your temperature probe, and there's an RS485 jack there so that you can do some data logging. This thing will operate 12 to 24 volt batteries. It will put out a maximum of 30 amps of current, and it will take a maximum of 100 volts of solar panels. If you have a 12 volt array, 450 watts, and if you have a 24 volt array, 900 watts. Right, I am going to make up some cables for this, and then I will be right back. Let's tear into that bag of goodies before I make that cable, see what I need to do or don't need to do. Bubble wrap, and then there's a bag inside the bubble wrap. And oh, I like it. It comes with all the mounting hardware you're going to need. Shrink wrap, some black, some red. So it'll be solar, battery, and load. And then we get some, these look like M8 bolts, 4 bolts, some mounting brackets, anchors, screws. So that is actually really cool. It comes with these little crimp-on connectors here that you can shove into the terminals. So put your wire in there and then plug that into your terminal block. Perfect. Well, we don't have a whole lot of sun yet this morning, but that doesn't mean we can't get the test started up. Let's get over to our test center. We've got two 200 watt solar panels, so that's 400 watts in total, which is awesome. And we are testing out the PowerQueen MPPT 30 amp solar charge controller. This thing's got Bluetooth and a nice display screen, and I'll show you the display screen in a second. And the battery we're going to be charging is the WattCycle, the big boy, the 300 amp hour battery. So let's get to it. All right, so step one is going to be to take the charge controller and connect it to the battery. And we'll start to see this thing come to life. It's doing its own little self-test. The battery's at 10.8 volts. And you can see that we are running on battery only. And there is a warning, and that warning is probably low voltage on the battery and no solar present. Now I'm going to plug in the solar, and we're starting to see some solar. It just blinked a little bit. And we're locking in on the sun. Solar going into the battery. Looks like we're getting 26.5 volts off of the sun this morning. Not bad, considering we don't have a whole lot of sun. 10.8 off the battery. The battery is 4% charged, 2% charged. That's going to fluctuate as the battery starts to become healthy again. We're putting 1.7 amps into the battery and 0 watt hours as of yet. And it's 20 degrees Celsius. And we need to configure this thing. So what type is it? Is it Li? Is it USE? Is it FLD? Is it SEL? Is it GEL, gel? So it's going to be lithium. 12 volts is fine. Boost to 14.4. Yep, that's perfect for charging a LiFePO. The output, this is telling me the battery to the load, and showing a little battery and a light bulb icon, and that is this port down here. I normally don't use these ports, so load output should be 12.4. That's fine. All right, we are good to go on that end. Let's go play with the Bluetooth app and look up what that EO1 is. Okay, so it turns out that there are two different PowerQueen apps. There is the PowerQueen that I installed and ran through a few seconds ago that doesn't do it, and then there's the PowerQueen MPPT app. I've just installed this. We're going to open it. We're going to play around the same way that we did before. It just comes straight into this screen here, and it's not connected to anything, so of course there's going to be no information involved, but it didn't ask for a login or anything, so we're already a mile ahead of where we used to be. Let's hit the Bluetooth button, and let's say allow to find things, and What have we found? Maybe the BT Bluetooth-PQ Power Queen CC2430. And this is model 2430, so that would be the one. Connect to that, and all of a sudden we have juice. I like it. All right, so 11.3 volts on the battery. Looks like it's gonna rotate through some screens. So the battery's already charging up pretty good. Solar panel input 29.3, status is MPPT. Battery bank is receiving 4.5 amps of current, 11.2 volts, 50 watts. There is no DC load. I mentioned that before, so that makes sense. And the error, the E01 we saw on the screen, was the battery was over discharged. And this battery is an interesting battery. This is the first battery I have seen where the low voltage cutoff in the battery management system, the BMS, inside of the big black box, says that it goes down to 9.2 before it cuts off. Most of them go down to 10. I don't know if that is some new battery chemistry that they're playing with here, or if that's just bad programming on the BMS. I'm willing to go either way on that as I learn more, but we'll share that in a future video. There's some historical data. We don't have enough historical data to have any history yet, but there it is. Total running days, 1. Well, I mean, like 15 minutes maybe. And we put 7 watt hours into the battery so far. And there we go with some visual data. We'll come back and play with this some more later. All right, so there's your battery type settings, and it's currently locked. That's unlocked, so there we go. Sealed lead acid gel, flooded, or user defined. We're gonna leave it at lithium because that's what we've got. And then there is all the parameters for your lithium batteries. Operating modes for the load is manual, it's off. Boost charge voltage 14.4, over discharge disconnect is 10.8. Light control delay time is 10 seconds, light control voltage is 5 volts. So that's one of the cool things that you can do about the load that's on these guys is you can actually program it. So if you had this thing plugged into your outdoor shed as an example, with some solar panels on the roof and you had some lights outside, I would plug the lights into the load and then I would use this charge controller to operate the lights overnight, and then in the morning turn them back off again. And you can set it so that it has a variety of timers and so forth, but I don't have that need right now, so I ain't gonna need it. Maybe you will. The Power Queen MPPT solar charge controller did a very good job of getting this battery charged up. This is my big boy 300 amp hour battery, and it took about 3 days. That's right, 3 days to get this thing charged via sun. I got two 200 watt panels, 400 watts combined, 32 volts. The charge controller pulled in all that juice from the sun and converted it into 12 volts and steady charge current for the battery, and that's what we got. And when I say steady charge current, it's steady as far as the sun will give it. Sometimes I'm putting in 8 amps, sometimes I'm putting in 13 amps at the peak of the day, but any amps is good amps when they come free from the sun. I dig me some free energy. And now that I said free energy in a video, this one's gonna take off to the moon. What I've got inside, why I like the MPPT controller outside, is I have Power Queen's big boy wall plug charger. Let me show you this thing. So there's the 300 amp hour battery with the big heavy duty leads plugged into the big boy charger. This is a 40 amp charger and will charge this battery in no time flat. I ain't doing math on camera. But I've got a video on this charger here up in the corner for you to tell you everything I know about it. And it's a charger, it's 40 amps in, and it's a charger. It's 120 volts AC in, and it's 40 amps, 14 volts DC out in order to get the batteries charged, the lithium iron phosphate batteries charged. The Power Queen charger comes with this magic sticker and this temperature probe, and both of these are for use with sealed lead acid batteries. And the only place I've got for sealed lead acid batteries in my life is in Big White here. And I don't have solar panels hooked up to her, so I can't help you with that. But if sealed lead acid batteries are your jam, then that temperature probe is for you. There's a joke in there about where to stick it, but I'm not even gonna go there. I'm gonna be more mature. All right, let me give you a little idea of what we're working with here. You guys know I live in an RV full time, and that means I stay in RV parks quite a lot of the time. We've got the same solar panels set up from the beginning of the video, 2 200 watt solar panels in parallel for 400 watts. That's some metal siding on the back of the RV, so there's a nice reflector to get that noise shoved in this direction. We've got all those RVs around, and on top of that, I am running a vertical antenna because noise comes in at the vertical. And right now, the battery is not plugged in, so the charge controller shouldn't be working, so that'll give us a good baseline. All right, so there is the FT8 frequency. Let's scroll up the band. This is 20 meters. That's interesting. As I'm dialing the band around, you can see a little blip. You see the white above the line there starts to buzz. This is your baseline noise on 20 meters on a 20 meter resonant antenna, less than 5 feet from the charge controller, which currently isn't charging. All right, and then I just plugged in and we are solid noise. That's an S9 noise signal right there. Holy moly. And then to make things more fair, I just moved the antenna about 30 feet away. And then we still have some noise. Let's see if I can unplug that one-handed. And now all that noise is gone away. I really dig all the information that I got off of the Bluetooth app. Kept me pretty well informed, and I'm kind of a data nerd, so I like to collect all the stats that I can from all the things that I can collect stats from. Power Queen is having an amazing Black Friday sale, and Power Queen is sponsoring a giveaway on my Black Friday live stream. So make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and you have your notifications turned on so you know when that live stream is coming out. Giving away a 50 amp hour battery. Gonna be amazing. Lower 48 only? Why do we say lower 48? Like everybody says that, but like Hawaii isn't lower than, anyway. Y'all know what lower 48 means by now because you're all grown folk. So I'll be looking for you on the live stream and I hope you win it. There are links in the description down below for more info on this product, other wonderful goodies down there as well. There's a video right over here I think you might enjoy next. Thanks for being awesome. I'll see you over there.